We cannot allow federal agency, one that was created for the purpose to terrorize, to function as an occupying force in our community. Real accountability starts with abolishing ICE, impeaching Kristi Noem, and rethinking how we enforce immigration policy in this country.
Can I respond to that? Can I respond to that?
No.
Of course not. Look, you want to know why there's 50,000 people in detention? You want to know why we have 1 million illegal entries in the United States? You want to know why we have these issues? Because you have failed to secure the border. You have failed to work with this president to close the 3 loopholes we've asked for 2 years to close. So if you want to know why this issue exists, you need to look in the mirror. You have failed American people for not securing the border and closing loopholes.
You don't have to be Einstein's cousin. You don't have to be a senior at Caltech to know that illegal immigration is illegal. Duh.
If you ever wanted to see a textbook definition of a political reality check, this is it. Representative Ilhan Omar decided to lecture a congressional hearing with high-flying rhetoric, labeling our federal border enforcement an occupying force. But she made one critical mistake. She forgot that former ICE Director Tom Homan was sitting right across from her, armed with a microphone and the actual historical record. Watching left-wing lawmakers try to lecture a seasoned law enforcement chief about border security is like watching a bicycle try to teach a fighter jet how to fly.
We must demand that those who are responsible for terrorizing our community are investigated thoroughly, not by the agencies that oversee them, by truly independent authorities. We have seen federal agencies block state investigation, stonewall accountability. This is unacceptable. Our system of justice cannot tolerate a situation where people are killed and only response is silence, spin, or justification from the administration's officials. Minnesota was once known as a place of refuge. Now it has been turned into a war zone by a federal government that has lost sight of the values that make America great. Everything we love, our communities, our rights, our Constitution, our humanity is on the line right now. We have to fight like our future depends on it, because it does.
Is there anything you'd like to respond to what you've heard today?
Yeah, I'd like to respond to Acting Chairman Jay Paul and your comment about the Trump administration moving money around for more detention beds. I'd like to remind you, under the Obama administration, we did that most of the years he was president. We moved money around DHS. It's called reprogramming. We did that under the Obama administration. I don't remember any hearings on that. And also, I'd like to remind you that under the Obama administration, I mean, you're quick to point out that the cages were built under the Obama administration. I was there. Family detention, we had 100 family beds under the Obama administration. We built 3,000 more. So when there was a surge in FY14 and FY15 on the border, Congress was quick to give all the money we needed to build detention facilities, get transportation contracts. We reprogrammed money out of the majority of the years he was president. That was fine. Under Obama administration, FY12, we removed 409,000 people, half of what was removed last year. There was no hearings on that. So this is about transparency. Let's be factual about it.
The time of the gentleman has expired. Since you did address some comments at me, I'll just say that I didn't like it under the Obama administration either. In fact,
well, be honest with the American people. You can't point out faults in the Trump administration when it happened under the Obama administration. That's dishonesty. It's pathetic and it's sad.
Mr. Homan, I control the time, and I am the chairwoman of the committee. Thank you for respecting that. I didn't like it under the Obama administration, and I'll remind you, Mr. Homan, that you also testified before Congress in support of the Obama's Priorities Enforcement Program before the Senate Judiciary Committee on May 19th, 2016, which had a very different approach.
Well, can I respond to that? Can I respond to that?
No.
Of course not.
I want to give you some time, but I do want to ask one quick question, and I want to make one quick statement. I find it very offensive that anybody would compare any federal employee, frankly, to someone who, the Gestapo or running Nazi concentration camps. That is very offensive. I have 15 seconds and I yield it to you.
Thank you for saying that. I wish somebody in Democratic leadership would say that out loud. Look, You want to know why there's 50,000 people in detention? You want to know why we have 1 million illegal entries in the United States? You want to know why we have these issues? Because you have failed to secure the border. You have failed to work with this president to close the 3 loopholes we've asked for 2 years to close. So if you want to know why this issue exists, you need to look in the mirror. You have failed American people for not securing the border and closing loopholes.
Mr. Homan, please respect the chair and the authority of the chair. The time of the gentleman has expired.
I've asked you politely to let me go beyond my time, and you let other people go beyond their time, but not to Tom Homan. He don't get me go beyond his time.
Mr. Homan, we have approved an agreement between the Republicans and the Democrats with the ranking member. We increased the time of one member of Congress who was interrupted by a protest. That is done with the approval of the ranking member. Please respect the chair's authority.
I respect the chair's authority, but the chair...
Mr. Homan!
You work for me. I'm a taxpayer. I'm a taxpayer. You work for me.
Let's talk about what's actually going on here, because if you just watch the mainstream news, you get a completely warped picture. Representative Ilhan Omar launched this massive verbal attack on Immigration and Customs Enforcement, saying they basically act like an occupying force that terrorizes people. Her solution is just to abolish the agency entirely, calling that accountability. But think about how that sounds to any normal person who pays taxes and just wants the law enforced. A country without borders isn't really a country at all. ICE doesn't just make up its own rules on the fly. They're enforcing the exact laws passed by the politicians sitting on that very committee. Instead of fixing the broken legal loopholes, some of these lawmakers prefer to use their time on camera to attack the people working the front lines. When you swap out logic and the rule of law for pure emotion, the system completely falls apart. This is where the whole argument just crumbles under the weight of actual facts. Tom Homan didn't show up with vague political talking points. He brought the actual data. When lawmakers started acting shocked about the high number of people in detention, Homan flipped the script. He told them flat out, if you want to know why the system is overwhelmed, look in the mirror.
Congress has failed to secure the border and close the loopholes that create the crisis in the first place. Honestly, you don't need to be a rocket scientist to know that if you leave the doors wide open, people are going to walk through them. What really gets me is the absolute amnesia from these politicians. They love to act like strict immigration enforcement is a brand new one-sided issue. But Homan gently reminded everyone that the massive detention facilities and the practice of moving funds around during a border crisis were heavily used under the Obama administration. Back during the surges in 2014 and 2015, Congress was quick to fund expansions from 100 family beds to 3,000 beds. Wow! At the end of the day, watching Congress try to lecture a border chief about enforcement chaos is a lot like watching the captain of the Titanic blame the iceberg for being too cold. You built the ship, you steered it into the ice, and now you're mad at the crew for passing out life jackets. Maybe if our lawmakers spent less time complaining about the people doing their jobs and more time actually doing their own, the view in that mirror might look a little better. But hey, until Congress realizes that securing a border takes actual work and not just viral video clips, we'll be right here covering the circus. See you on the next one.